Hey everyone! Today we're inside my computer because I wanted to show you how I wanted to give you a quick inside look into my DJ software and DJ library. I wanted you to see what I see today and basically give you a tour and showing you what I have to play with, basically. So this video is a quick overview as well of the creative process to making a playlist. What are exactly the steps that DJs take until they arrive at the final destination, which is having a set crafted? Okay, so obviously the first part of the process is to search for music, is to download music and import said music into your DJ software. You can do that in various ways. You can go to online DJ stores like Beatport or Bandcamp, or you can subscribe to DJ pools, which are basically platforms that let you download music for a monthly fee. Okay, so depending on your tastes and depending on your situation and your needs, you can use various methods to get your music. Okay, and when you have your music imported into your software, you're first going to categorize your music into genres, right? It's the most basic way that you can categorize your music is into different genres, okay? And then from the genres and from your library, playlists will be born, okay? So how does a playlist begin? A playlist begins with an idea, okay? So you can imagine, for example, you can imagine that Tomorrowland is a festival, for example, that you might want to play in the future. So you research Tomorrowland and you also have your taste, and combining those two factors, you can create a playlist inspired in Tomorrowland, inspired in your desire to play there, and also maybe a playlist that you can use when you eventually get to play at Tomorrowland. Okay, that's one way that you can formulate an idea for a playlist, but also, for example, this one, Funky Starters, the idea behind it is that I wanted music to begin to start an event and to warm up the crowd. And in this case, I chose funky house music because it combines the obvious funky vibes of house as well with popular vocals. Okay, so it's for me it made sense to warm up the crowd and activate the audience with this kind of playlist because you have the beats and you also have the familiarity of known vocals above house beats. So I thought it was a cool combination and decided to create a playlist in this idea. So this is the one. And this is another one. This is the most recent one. The last videos that I posted are basically the creation process of this playlist. Okay, so I will right now explain what said process is. How do you go from your only categorized by genre music until a playlist? So once you have the idea down, once you know, in this case, sides, melodic, early type of psytrance, so you got your idea, and then you are going to search your library for music that fits the idea you have for the playlist. So then you just you just select all the music into a folder, into a playlist. In this case, it's the box, Lupsai box, which is basically all the music that fits the idea for me. I put it in here. Okay, so it's unorganized at first, but then what you do is organize your music by energy. Okay, energy is not necessarily unidimensional aspect, right? It's not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily have to be low energy to high energy, because you have a lot of other factors that go into energy. Energy has so much complexity. You can categorize. You can look at energy based on intensity, but also of vibe, also like sunset vibe, jazzy vibe, um, minimal, more melodic, more epic, more, there's so much that goes into energy that if you look at it in a unidimensional way, it may be difficult to organize 50 songs just from intensity. So what you have to do, instead of looking at energy in a linear way and trying to categorize everything with names and numbers, you can simply go by feel, by simply putting tracks together that have the same vibe. Okay, so you can say that you listen to this song and you listen to this song and they give you the same feeling, the same vibe. So you put them together, and what's going to happen is, with time, clusters of songs with similar vibes are going to be put together. And then what you have to do is just organize those clusters within themselves. Then you can think more about energy. For example, these few songs are more like melodic, minimal, jazzy psytrance. Okay, so in this case, the next few songs are more intense songs, but with slimmer and funkier bass. The next songs are more melodic, but with more substantial bass. Okay, so this is, of course, this is personal. Okay, so this whole playlist, this whole pool of songs that are organized by energy are not necessarily organized from low energy to high energy, but I know they are organized in clusters of songs that have similar feels, and that is more than enough to make it then so much more easy to play with individual songs and organize them and see which song goes well with which, because then you have a pool of songs that are organized with similar feels, and then you just have to start playing and start organizing and start growing your playlist, your set. So you will see that in the timelines of the songs, the sound waves that appear here, this is the timeline of the song. Each point here below represents the minute, so 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and so on. And this is the sound wave that appears here. Okay, you can clearly see the difference in the sound waves from one place to the other, and you can clearly identify that these sound waves that are more dark and thick and high must be the parts of the song that have more bass and more activity going. So you can already analyze a song just by looking at the sound wave and the timeline. But if you take the time to then mark the songs with cue points, which are these little symbols that you see that I manually added, which represent the points that I want to mix in and out of the song. Okay? So this point here represents the part of the song that I want to start mixing in, and this later one represents where I want to start mixing out of the song. And I do this because I listen to my music and I identify the parts that I like the most and the parts that I want to play, and I basically mark them. And every time that I load the song, I know exactly what I want to play. And that gives me so much more creative control and so much more security and so much more focus on the moment and on the music and on listening rather than being distracted by where I want to mix in or out of. I've planned that already, so I can just be in the moment. Of course, cue points change with time, okay? So I can tell you that a lot of music that's in here have been marked in different ways because taste changes over time as well. So nothing of this, not the marking of the songs, not the order of the songs, not what you feel about a particular song, what you like or don't like of a particular song is set in stone. Everything is always evolving. I like one song now, and maybe I won't like it in a month from now, and I will take it off the playlist. I like one combination now, which I won't necessarily like in the future. So that's the beauty of art, is that your taste is ever evolving, or what you think it's good right now, with a little bit more training and a little bit more experience, you will look back and think it's amateur. So it's part of life, and it's the beauty of this. But this is the creative process, okay? So you go search for music, buy your music, download your music, categorize it in genres, then formulate ideas for playlists and search your library for music that fit that idea. You then organize the music that fits the idea by energy, and then you start playing with the songs and start crafting sets. So that is the basic process that I implement for creating my playlists. But then, what is the quickest and best way to arrive at a playlist as fast as you can? In my opinion, and this is also a big point of this video, what I wanted to show you is that it is much faster and much easier to play with songs at first only in the software and not in the controller. Okay? So when you have the songs that fit your idea organized by energy, and once you start playing with them to see which order are the songs going to be in actually in the set, it's much easier to do that process only in the software because you are eliminating variables. If you are practicing the transitions or testing combinations in the controller, it might be that the transition goes to shit or to, goes bad, not because the songs don't work together, but because you messed up the transition. So by eliminating that variable and focus only on the music, by simply, and I'll show you how simple it is, by simply moving the crossfader, which is this handle here, from one side to the other, making a transition only by doing this, instead of manipulating all the EQs and all the buttons in the controller. It's much more simple to focus on the music and on the compatibility of music. So this is the crossfader, and this basically manipulates the audio output in relation to the position in which it's in. So you have track A up here and track B down here. And right now the crossfader is all the way up, which means only the audio from track A will be heard, okay? And as the transition progresses, you just start introducing track B by going down with the crossfader. Now in this position, you will see that most of the audio is coming from track A, but there is some audio already coming from track B, and then you progressively exit from track A until you completely go to track B. Okay, this is an oversimplified way of making a transition, not sounding so professional as you could make it sound in the controller, of course, but we want to build a skeleton for a playlist, and we want to focus on the music. We want to focus on if the tracks go well together, and which order, rough order, of course, because it's ever developing, which rough order do we want the tracks to be on. And we want to arrive at a playlist about 20 songs, which is like 45 minutes to an hour of music in this genre, at least. We want to arrive at this point as quick as possible so we can start then focusing on the technique and on the transitions and on recording and sharing your work. Okay? So it's all about compartmentalizing your focus, directing your focus first to the music by using the software to play with the songs, and then on the technique by practicing your transitions in the controller. And that's the quickest way to get to your desired outcome. You will focus on different aspects of the creative process, one at a time, instead of being overwhelmed of having to do everything at the same time. So let me finish this video by making a transition only in the software. You will see that it's not the most professional sound ever, but it's more than enough for you to start playing with your songs and start building the skeleton for your playlist. Let's do this. Put first song, exiting song, track A, incoming song, track B. Let's move the crossfader all the way up, and then we start a little bit before the exited point, and we put the incoming song on the starting point. We will press play and then press play on the incoming song when the exiting song reaches the exiting point. Let's go. Start to introduce. Both songs together. Progressively, very easy. You see, it's so simple and more than enough for you to see that the tracks are good together or not, basically. Here we go. That's the end of it. So you've seen that it's more than enough that you use your software to make the skeleton of your playlist, and then when you have 20 songs, you don't even have to go to 20, but once you have some songs to play with, you start going to the controller, and that's it. So remember, compartmentalize your focus and that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed an inside look at my creation process, and I hope to share much more with you guys. My goal is to share as much as I can to make it as easy for you as I can. Okay, and we'll see you on the next video. Stay strong.